Hello again, everybody. Welcome to USA Wrestling Weekly. I'm Scott Casper. It's time for this week's news from USA Wrestling, the national governing body of our sport. And for the second straight week, we start with big news out of New York City. A report from the Catch the Roof, a popular restaurant in Manhattan. That was the site of a reception for the 2012 U.S. Olympic wrestling team and their supporters. Mike Novogratz, one of the stewards of the amazing bonus program, kicked off the night with a very inspiring speech.
The elite athletes, the guys that make it to the final match, whose hand are raised and win the gold, they represent the journey of a wrestler. And all of us buy into that. And when they win, we win.
Novogratz also gave special thanks to our friend Al Bevilacqua, who led the grassroots promotion of this program.
And no one did more in this than Al Bevilacqua, who ran our grassroots campaign, who created the list, who had, I don't know how many individual donors we had, but more than 2,000 people donated $10, $50, $100, $1,000. Al hounded them, he thanked them, he sent them t-shirts. So lift your drink, give a round of applause to Al Bevy in there.
To cap off the great evening, the stewards made the formal presentation of the bonus checks for the wrestling bouts from the 2011 game. A combined $550,000 was given to 4 U.S. wrestlers who won medals in London. This was the most bonus money awarded by any American Summer Olympic sport from those games. Jordan Burroughs won Olympic gold at 163 pounds in men's freestyle and received $250,000.
Super proud of everyone up on the stage. You know, we did a lot of training together, and we all come from separate parts of the country, you know, but once we had that camaraderie and brotherhood throughout the summer, running up that cog, doing sprints. Jake Varner wasn't there, though, but it was good. It was good times, you know, so we really created a brotherhood. We had an awesome time together, bled, sweat, and shed blood together, you know, so it was awesome. Happy to be a gold medalist. Hopefully we have a lot more gold medals in the future in 2016, and I'm in it. I'm in it. These guys are in. I'm in. And America's behind me. Go USA.
Jake Varner won Olympic gold as well, but at 211 pounds. He got that same check for $250,000.
I just want to thank these guys. These guys are awesome. I couldn't have done what I did without these guys. And, I love these guys. And, we're gonna have some fun in the next few years. Thanks, everybody.
Now, Coleman Scott won Olympic bronze at 132 pounds in freestyle and received a check for $25,000.
I went from third in the country to third in the world in a year, so it was an up and down year, and I couldn't have done it without these guys and everybody behind me, and that's what winning, for me, that's what winning that medal was for everybody else, not really for me, so thank you guys.
Clarissa Chun competed in her second Olympic Games, won an Olympic bronze medal at 105 in women's freestyle, and received a $25,000 check as well.
I just want to thank everyone, everyone that supported me or cheered me on, or just been there from day one. And for me, that's how I felt. I want to thank every one of you guys for being a part of that.
USA Wrestling thanked all donors to the Living the Dream Medal Fund over the last 4 years. A total of $750,000 was awarded to the world and Olympic medalists for the United States, a program which has made a huge impact on Team USA's performance. Well, earlier in the evening, members of the U.S. Olympic team appeared at the Olympic Wrestling Team Thanks America Tour celebration at the Beat the Streets Manhattan Training Center. Youth wrestlers and their coaches from all over New York City came out to a rally to meet their heroes. National coach Zeke Jones opened the program with a message about the journey.
We were all, student athletes at one point where, that dream started when we were young. We were kids. I think most of those guys will tell you they started when they were 5, 6, 7 years old, and just learning the sport. And so as they put the time and energy and training, and that dream started to become a goal.
Olympic champion Jordan Burroughs talked to the fans.
What inspires me is guys like you, everyone So I have a lot of days where I'm training extremely hard, cutting weight, and things get tough, but then I get to enjoy days like this, which make everything worthwhile and special. So being an Olympic champ is much more than actually going out and winning gold medals. It's about being able to give back and reach out to communities like this and come and show you guys that it's possible.
Olympic champion Jake Varner spoke at the rally.
I did all the other sports growing up, just like all the other kids did: football, baseball, basketball, all those team sports, and I liked them. To me, they're more of a game. With sports, there's someone, well, this person dropped the ball, this person did that, and I didn't like doing that. I didn't like being playing with someone else. And I just knew, wrestling, I want to be an Olympic champion, and it's the toughest sport I think to do it in. So.
Well, the formal part of the program was done. Now the Olympians lined up to sign autographs for the fans, pose for photos, and talk with them individually. It was the second successful stop of this tour, which was kicked off in Orlando, Florida, 2 weeks ago. The final tour stop will be held in L.A. December 19th, and we'll give you more information on that as it approaches. Well, while in New York, the Freestyle national team held a training camp at the Edge Hoboken Wrestling Club in New Jersey. In addition to many of the nation's top freestyle wrestlers, the Russian team, which competed at the New York Athletic Club International, stayed for a week to work out with the Americans. Included in the camp, a number of 2012 Olympians who've committed to wrestling for a spot on the 2016 Olympic team to compete in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. We caught up with Olympic and world champion Jordan Burroughs.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling good. I'm hungry again. I actually took time off to refocus and just go back to the drawing board and figure out what I need to get better at. Obviously, parterre is a position that I want to continually grow in. I can get better at my positioning and things like that, so I still have a lot of points to shave off my score and a lot to go before I want to have a 72 Munich like Dan Gable had.
Olympic bronze medalist Coleman Scott was preparing for the season ahead.
I've been training a lot, but I'm not at my top where I was at the Olympics. That's where I'm going to get back to here in these next about a month and a half. Really hit my training camp hard, get back to my strict diet and everything, and get back to the way I was right before the Olympics.
World medalist and Olympian Tervel Delegnev has already won 2 tournaments this fall and is looking to continue that success.
I mean, just for myself, I know that I just like wrestling, and wrestling the same guys for a long block of time gets a little monotonous. So anytime you get a new look, you treat it kind of like a match. So you try to win, you try to score, you try to open up. So it's a good feel. I like it a lot. I like diversifying my partners. It's fun.
Olympian Sam Hazewinkle is excited to get back on the mat for Team USA.
It's been great. I feel like got a fire under me since the Olympics, and just been trying to build on that. Really work on my technique right now. We got a long time ahead of us, so it's time to get better, and we'll start working on getting mean and tough and stuff like that.
National coach Zeke Jones talked about the importance of this camp for U.S. freestylers.
Well, our goal is pretty simple. We want to improve. We're working on some areas that, we can do better from the Olympic Games, some individual things and some things that the guys are doing. We got the Russians here, too. I think that gives a unique atmosphere that, helps us get ready.
Well, stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're watching USA Wrestling Weekly.
Has been there. They've been the lifeblood of the sport. It's been a long time, and they've been at the top of the game every year, forever. And I'll tell you what, now that I think about it, maybe that's where I've gotten my inspiration, because I always want to be in the top of my game in wrestling, and I think that's where ASICS is and wants to be as well.
Well, another important freestyle event was held last week, the Freestyle Leadership Summit at the W Hotel in Hoboken. This important meeting is held every 4 years and signifies the start of the new Olympic four-year cycle. Plans for USA Wrestling's freestyle team were discussed, and the Olympic cycle as a whole. Leaders from USA Wrestling's board of directors and national staff were there, along with key individuals from the NWCA, the U.S. Olympic Committee, the Hall of Fame, the NCAA, college wrestling programs, regional training centers, and national clubs. National coach Zeke Jones provided the framework for the meeting.
Really, it's just pretty simple. Our goal is to try to lay out that strategic plan for the next 4 years. It reminds me of what we did in 2008, at the end of 2008, when we all got together and we hit the reset button of the program. We're trying to decide, what do we want to do moving forward. And the first thing Mitch and I were talking about was, let's try to get our folks together. Let's try to bring our leadership together, to have an idea of what we think we should do next.
Presentations were made by Ron Brandt to the U.S. Olympic Committee on high performance planning. Mike Moyer of the NWCA provided his presentation on regional training centers. Jeff Waters of USA Wrestling Foundation talked about national team fundraising. We visited with Kerry McCoy, head coach of the University of Maryland and two-time Olympian, and got his perspective on the summit.
Well, you got to get the best people, the greatest minds, the people that really care about the sport together and have the exchange of ideas and figure out what our direction is and how we're going to get there. So it's important for me. Ever since I've gotten into the sport, I wanted to help make it better. So every chance I get to help out, I'm going to be here.
Well, Greco-Roman Team USA was overseas for competition last weekend. 3 U.S. Greco-Roman wrestlers won gold medals at the 2012 Haparanda Cup in Sweden. Claiming the gold medal at 121 was Nate Engel of the U.S. Army, who won 3 bouts, including a victory over Russia's Rasul Baku in the gold medal bout. At 132 pounds, the champion was two-time world team member Joe Betterman, who also had a 3-0 record on the tournament. Betterman drew his Army teammate Spencer Mango, a two-time Olympian who was competing up a weight class in the finals. 2011 world team member Andy Bisick of the Minnesota Storm won the title at 163 pounds with 4 straight wins of his own. Bisick defeated Alexander Jurgens of Sweden in the championship final. Joining Mango as a silver medalist for the USA was Ben Sanchez of the New York Athletic Club at 145 pounds. Sanchez won his first 2 bouts before falling to Sharir Vandarian of Sweden in the finals. 2 U.S. wrestlers won bronze medals for the U.S., including John Anderson at 163 pounds and Eric Nye at 264 pounds. Anderson defeated Manfred Edsberg of Sweden for the bronze, and Nye defeated Robert Ramzanov of Russia to get his medal. The United States placed third in the team standings with 52 points, just 1 point behind the runner-up Sweden with 53. Russia won the team standings overall. 2 days prior to the tournament, the USA faced the Swedish national team in a friendly dual meet. Sweden won the match 8-2. Winning bouts for Team USA were Nate Engel at 121 and Joe Betterman at 132 pounds. Well, the college wrestling season is now underway across the country, and many of the nation's top programs have started their dual meets. One of the national polls has the University of Minnesota ranked #1 as the start of the season gets underway. The Golden Gophers showed why they are so respected in an away dual meet against Big Ten rival Nebraska, who holds the #9 ranking. The powerful Gophers won 8 of 10 bouts in a 27-7 rout of the Cornhuskers in Lincoln. Minnesota All-American Logan Storley, ranked #3, scored the winning takedown in a 3-1 win over #5 Robert Kokish at 174. One of the best bouts of the night came at 184 pounds when the 4th-ranked Kevin Steinhaus got a takedown with 5 seconds left to top #5 Josh Heinen 3-1 in another matchup of All-Americans. Returning NCAA champion Tony Nelson of Minnesota scored a major decision at heavyweight in the opening bout, setting the stage for the victory. Gopher coach Jay Robinson talked about his early season victory.
We got to win those close ones. I think Steinhaus's match is a great example of that. A lot of heart, a lot of effort all the way through. So, those are the kind of matches, and that's the tempo that we want to wrestle. We want to wrestle hard. We want to wrestle hard pace. And we want to go after people. And I think when you do those, a lot of good things happen.
Nebraska assistant coach Brian Snyder talked about the Nebraska effort.
Getting a good duel like this out, not out of the way, but having a good duel like this in November is a great benchmark. It shows us where we're at. I think it's motivating for us. You're going to see us in the room tomorrow at 11, and we're going to be ready to go. We're going to be ready to get better. Our team's tough, man. They got a lot of character, and this isn't going to set them back.
Well, this weekend also marked the first dual meet for two-time returning national champ Penn State. who hosted opening dual meet against regional rival Lehigh. It was a sellout crowd of over 6,400 fans, and the Nittany Lions won 8 of 10 to defeat the number 24 Lehigh 29-6. How strong are they? It's anyone's guess. One of the featured bouts was at 84, where defending national champ Ed Ruth of Penn State faced 2011 NCAA runner-up Robert Hamlin of Lehigh. Ruth jumped out to an early lead and held off a late Hamlin rally for a wild 11-9 win. Defending national champ David Taylor was dominant in a 20-5 tech fall over Eric Hess at 165. NCAA runner-up Nico Megaludis also had an impressive 19-4 tech fall over Alex Abreu at 125 pounds. Of course, we'll keep you posted on all the college scene all season long as it happens. Well, stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're watching USA Wrestling Weekly.
Each season, Liberty Mutual's Responsible Sports Community Grant Program awards $65,000 to youth sports organizations and school sports programs that demonstrate their commitment to responsibility in youth sports. Your organization could be one of our 20 winners this season. It's easy. Simply visit responsiblesports.com and click on the Community Grant Program. Administrators register their organization with the program, then reach out to rally parents, coaches, and team supporters to log on and review either the Responsible Sports Parenting or Responsible Coaching Guide. Then complete the quiz and showcase your mastery of the concepts. Every successfully passed quiz is worth a point that you can credit to your favorite youth sports organization or school sports program. Connect with friends, family, and neighbors to rally more support. The teams and schools with the most points at the end of the grant period win. It's that simple. Watch the leaderboard throughout the grant season, then rally more of your supporters to increase your totals. Liberty Mutual is committed to celebrating and championing youth sports and to financially supporting organizations that demonstrate their commitment to responsible sports. Join the movement and start earning points toward your community grant.
Well, one of the great programs in our sport is the National Wrestling Hall of Fame State Chapter Program. All across the country, the wrestling community comes together for State Hall of Fame banquets to honor their local leaders. Well, the purpose of the state chapters is to pay tribute to the coaches, officials, and contributors who represent the very best qualities that wrestling has to offer and who share these values with young people every day. USA Wrestling's Tony Black recently attended the Hall of Fame induction for the Maryland State Chapter. Earning the Lifetime Service to Wrestling Award were 4 Maryland leaders, Claude Dar, John Lowe, Gary Seiler, and Rob Smoot. 2 leaders were honored with the Outstanding American Award for the state, both with strong wrestling backgrounds. Business leader Joe Galley was honored, as was NFL football star Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens. Lewis, a high school state wrestling champ in Florida, was represented by his high school coach. We'd like to showcase the Medal of Courage Award winner for Maryland, Sergeant Retired George Travis Manning. This award goes to a wrestler who has overcome significant odds to succeed in life. A high school wrestler who graduated from Kent County High School in 1999, Manning went on to a leadership role in the United States Army. In 2004 in Baghdad, Iraq, Manning and his unit were on patrol when they were struck by a roadside bomb. Manning and many of his fellow soldiers received considerable burns on their bodies. Manning's legs were in tough shape. They were able to get themselves to safety and went through the arduous task of recovery. Manning was awarded the Purple Heart for his service and is now retired from the military and making a difference in society. Manning talks about the lessons he learned from wrestling that help him to overcome.
When my squad was attacked by rocket-propelled grenades that left several of us warriors critically injured, I found myself hurt, dazed, and confused, laying flat on my back. Then subconsciously, my wrestling instinct must have sank in, as unfortunately I knew I didn't belong on my back.
Dan Zottarelli, who chairs the Maryland chapter of the Hall, talked about this year's function held the same day Superstorm Sandy was heading toward the coast.
And we have a committee of 14 here in Maryland, and each of our banquets each year are average over 300 people, and we had 2 banquets that were over 500 in the early years in 2001, 2002. So I think we have a great committee, and we have an amazing induction class again this year in 2012.
Well, the wrestling community in Maryland celebrated the impact of those who were honored These Hall of Fame state chapter banquets are being held across the nation every year, thanking those who have made a difference in their community and in the sport. Well, we recently reported that the National Wrestling Hall of Fame had selected distinguished members who will be inducted into its class of 2013. We caught up with one of the new Hall of Fame inductees, Greco-Roman legend Dan Chandler, who was coaching athletes at the New York AC International. Chandler was a three-time Olympian as an athlete and has coached numerous U.S. Olympic and world teams. He's a big reason why Minnesota remains a major hotbed for Greco-Roman wrestling in our country.
Well, my first thought was that most of my enemies must have passed away, but it's a great honor. People that are in the Hall of Fame, a lot of people I've always looked up to, so it's a very, very humbling experience, but a great honor. So I'm thrilled, and all my friends and family will be coming down to Stillwater for the induction ceremony. So.
Well, stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're watching USA Wrestling Weekly.
There comes a point in your life that determines who you are, whether you will lead or follow, whether you will fight or give in, whether you will win or lose, and what you will count as your victory.
Well, Les Steenledge and Matt Getz, the two University of Iowa Athletic Department staff members, are the two that managed Iowa's leadership at the 2012 U.S. Olympic Wrestling Team Trials. They've been honored by their local community, and rightfully so. Both were named Hospitality Persons of the Year by the Iowa City Coralville Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. Here, Les and Matt are shown in the center with UI Athletics Director Gary Barta and Josh Schomburger of the Iowa City Coralville CVB. Steenledge, who's now in his 36th year at Iowa, is an assistant athletics director in the UI Athletics Department's event management unit. He also is the executive director of the National Varsity Club. Getz is in his first year as an assistant director of event management and Varsity Club after having served several years within Iowa Athletics and the UI Foundation. Everyone agrees that the trials were an amazing success, arguably the best in the event's history. According to research conducted during the trials, the projected economic impact of the trials was $5.6 million. The average visitor expenditures per party, $707, and the average per person, $201. The research also revealed that more than 80% of the 14,213 fans were visitors from outside of Johnson County. Congratulations to our friend Les and Matt for a job well done. Well, last week we reported on the Grapple at the Garden, a 14-team college wrestling event set for historic Madison Square Garden in New York City, December 16th. National powers Iowa, Oklahoma State, Cornell, Ohio State, Missouri, Nebraska, and Maryland are among the teams on that card. We visited with Leroy Smith of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame on the historical perspective of this incredible event.
It's a great platform, it's a great stage for wrestling to get an opportunity to showcase our some of the great wrestlers in college wrestling, some of the great teams in college wrestling, and in what I would consider the toughest sport that the NCAA sponsors in athletics.
We've made it through. It's time for the USA Wrestling Photo of the Week contest. These pictures are sent in by wrestling families and fans from around the country and are being considered for the photo contest page in USA Wrestlers Magazine and on our Facebook page. This week, USA Wrestling's Photo of the Week is taken by Emily Doyle, and it shows 7-year-old Gavin Doyle, the Garden Spot Mat Club in Pennsylvania, controlling his opponent. Well done. You can have your photographs considered for USA Wrestling's photo contest simply by emailing them to Gary Abbott at usawrestling.org. Again, that's gabbott@usawrestling.org. Well, folks, that'll do it for this week's show. I'm Scott Casper, and for all of us at USA Wrestling, we want to wish you a very happy holiday, and thanks for watching. Good night.